Good morning. How's everybody this morning? Cactus Deb is here from a chilly Glendale, Arizona. Um, I imagine it's still probably warmer than it is here. Deb. Linda, my Michigan buddy, good morning. And Evelyn is here from New Haven, Indiana. Welcome. It's so good to see you, Evelyn. This morning we have got some fun stuff we're going to do. We're going to work with a template called the Apple Core. I think the Apple Core turned out to be such a versatile template. I was surprised, quite honestly. Carla's here from Oklahoma. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, my friend Linda from New York. And Joyce is here from Mesa. Now, is it cool in Mesa as it is in Glendale? 39 degrees. Okay, well, you know what? We're really not that far behind you. We have 20 degrees right now. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is we are going to have wind chill factors of possibly as high as 25 degrees below zero tomorrow. Our high is supposed to get to 7. So, yeah, I understand. Diane, good morning from Massachusetts. So good to see you. Awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you these templates and then I'm going to show you how to mark for them. It's really quite easy. This is 42 in Mesa, so the high will be 71. Yeah, ours won't be much bigger than what, much higher than what it is now, unfortunately. Good morning, Linda. It's North Central Missouri. Your high today is 28. Winter has arrived here as well, Linda. Chile, Indiana is at 27 degrees right now. Wow. You know, I hope we all got those extra quilts out for our bed. Hi, Pam from Maine. So good to see you. Okay, well, everybody's hopping on here. Let's take a look at our templates. We have 3 Apple Core templates. We have the Papa Bear, I call it, which is the 3-inch, the Mama Bear, which is a 2-inch, and our Baby Bear, which is a 1-inch. Now, this design has to be sewn in 2 passes. And I'm going to show you those now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use Mama Bear for this one, okay? I didn't want to go with the real small one because I was afraid that it was just going to not show, although I am going to show you the small one. Okay, we're going to pretend this upper line is not here right now. Okay, hi, Kathy. Long Island, 60 degrees. Oh, I'm definitely jealous of you. Okay, so what I'm sorry, somebody is just really thinking that I'm talking to her, and I am not. So, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We want to look at this template because it has some unique markings on it. And actually, they're very useful markings. Let's do it this way. If you'll notice, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I am going to strongly suggest when you start using this template to open up the directions because I didn't at first. So I was stitching 1, 2, 3, 4, and then trying to figure out how to move it down. Well, you don't. That's the key. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, slide it over. And then when we come back, we're going to use the 4. Okay, that's enough. Go lay down. Mary Lou's here from Florida. Good morning. And Terry made it in this morning from Illinois. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, slide. 1, 2, 3, slide. And that is going to keep us on the straight and narrow, so to speak, okay? Now what I did is I have set up so that I start with a straight line. What I like to kind of an analogy that I like to use when we're doing ruler work, and it's not just the apple core, it's all of our templates. When when we decide to paint a room, to me, the most important process is to prep our walls correctly. Okay? If we don't prep them good, then chances are we're not going to end up having a pretty painting job. So it's the same thing with our quilting. We want to make sure that we prep our fabric, our project correctly so that when we're done, we come out with the nicest outcome. Okay? I would draw my first line. This is going to be the line that we're going to go from left to right. And then depending on the size of the template, I'm using the 2-inch template, so I came down 2 inches and drew another line. And what we're going to do on that line is we're gonna drop down and go from right to left. I'm sorry, we're going to stick on this one to go right to left. Then we're gonna drop down, go left to right, right to left, okay? Um, that is an important thing to know. We're going to be stitching in both directions. This particular design, I think, is perfect for an edge to edge. If you've got a larger quilt, you may want to use the 3-inch apple core. And that's how big it is. Now to use the 3-inch, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw our first line and go from left to right. Then we're going to come back right to left. 3 inches down, we're going to do our second line and so forth. One tip about this, okay? I have found over the years of doing template quilting that because these lines have dimension, okay? If you look at what I mean by dimension is the thickness of the line. And what I did here was I did this on purpose to show you how different the same marking tool will make two lines. This one is so nice and thin. This one I went over it twice and must have moved that ruler just a little tiny bit. So what you're going to see is about half the dimension of this line. So my suggestion is do not go down the whole length of the project drawing your lines. I would do this one, come back, and this one, come back. Then I would draw my next line and go both ways on it, draw my next line and go both ways. Does that make sense? I just want to be sure you understand. Mary Lou, good morning from Florida. So good to see you. And Terry's still in Illinois. Susan's here from Southern Ontario, Canada. Yes. And Patsy, Dean Ward is here from a very cold New Mexico this morning. It's 21 degrees. Patsy, you should note that it's actually 20 degrees here. So welcome to chilly mornings. Oh my goodness. Brenda is here, another Michigander. Good morning and welcome. And Brenda is here from Michigan as well. We have two Brendas from Michigan. I love those Michiganders, right? Okay, Juana is here, or is it Juna? From Arkansas. Julie is here from the UK, and Fernie is here from a chilly Minnesota. Yeah, the whole country is going to feel this little clipper that's coming through. And we have, I don't know, if I should say it this way, but we do have our friends in Canada to thank for that. And we get your weather, but that's okay. It's okay. Okay, only one Brenda from Michigan. Oh, Brenda, thank you. Okay, so we only have one. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here at 1. I'm going to stitch up to 2 and down to 3. Now, I do already have another line stitched in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of mention lining this up. What I want to do is I want this point to be lined up with this line, this horizontal line, and this vertical line. And what that's going to do, and I'm going to move you in here a little closer so I can look more down on it. There we go. Oops. So what that's going to do is that's going to place, when we stitch up here, it's going to meet right at that corner. And you'll see that up here. This is how beautifully it's meant to go together. I always said I wanted to spend a day in Leonie West's mind. How she comes up with this stuff is just genius as far as I'm concerned. So let's go ahead and we're going to back up a little bit here and come down. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Getting a little cattywampus there. And now let's go in over the needle. Okay, so we can see what we're doing. And there we go. Try to move nice and smoothly. Y'all got your coffee, I hope? Oh, Terry says it's snowing down in Illinois and it's warmer up here than it is down there. Lois, good morning from Delaware. And Kathy, good morning from a nippy Texas. Yeah, everybody is talking this morning about the cold weather. It is something. Okay, so let's go ahead and come in here and we're going to go and start at number 1. I am lining up the center point here. And I'm going to put my foot down. And yes, I have a different machine today. And up that's going to come. Oh, I guess I need that up just a smidge higher. Sometimes I don't get them exactly where I want them because of the fact that I'm sitting back and I'm looking over the top of the camera. So my vantage point can sometimes be skewed just a bit, but I think we've got it. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that bobbin thread up. And we're gonna put that foot back down. I'm not used to all these bugs, guys. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to take my stitch in place because I do not want to get toe catchers. The other thing that I should note is that you do not have to put stable tape on both sides. We are only going to use this template in one orientation. Cut that off here. So it's going to be fine. And I'm going to pull you in just a little bit, guys. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to line up this vertical line and this horizontal line with the bottom corner of the previous row. And when I do that, and if you have to smush, it's okay. Go ahead and smush. And we're just going to go from 1 to 2 and back to 3. And now we're going to slide again. And it is really that easy. Can you believe it? That's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. So off we go. Remember, this is a curve. And with curves, what we like to do is we like to keep those stitches just a little bit shorter to give them the illusion that they're smooth and round. Because we know our our machines don't stitch curved stitches, they only stitch straight stitches. So to help the illusion of smoothness, we are just going to go shorter. And it's gonna work every time. And we've gone 1 to 3, we only have 2 more to go here. And this one I have to do some smooshing. Remember that our fabric is being shrunken up just a little bit every time that we put a stitch in. Oh, beautiful. And down to 3. We're gonna do this one more time. Okay. And again, I'm gonna do a little smooshing. Make sure that my template is straight. And off we go. And back down. This one's off a little bit. I'm not going to get overly excited about it. That's why we practice. Okay, so I've gone now from left to right. And now what we're going to do, what we did up here is we did one, we went from 1 to 2 to 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to leave our template lined up on the same line. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We're going to leave it on the same line and backwards. We're now going to go from right to left. And Fernie says, oh, this is my kind of template being an absolute newbie. And Fernie, you're absolutely right. This is a great template for a person who is just starting out. Everything is contained. We all know that an inside curve is so much easier to stitch than an outside curve. Plus the fact that we can do several different designs with this template, and I am going to show you that very shortly. Okay, so, okay. Oh, Lois, I love it. Yep. Lee, good morning. She's got her coffee. And Lois says, okay, don't be jealous, guys. Actually, it's 64 degrees here in Delaware, but I think that is going to be changing by tomorrow. It is going to change everywhere by tomorrow, Lois. I was thinking to myself, okay, minus 25-degree wind chill factor. I'm not leaving the house tomorrow. Then I remembered I have an appointment to get my hair cut. I really have to leave the house tomorrow. Fortunately, I don't go far. Okay, so here we are. We are going to go backwards. And now what we're lining up is we are going to line up this vertical line. No, enough. And this horizontal line on our marked line. And we're going to go from 3 to 4 to 1. Okay. Same thing as we did on the way down. It's just a different set of numbers. So here's number 3. We're going to number 4. Don't forget to take that extra stitch right here. And now we're going to go back up to number 1. And all things being equal, we should line up with where we put that first stitch. Because what I want to show you, I'm going to turn this a little bit. Whoops. Let's try that again. Okay, so we should be 1/4 of an inch from here, which we are when we're lined up, and 1/4 of an inch from here, and we are when we are lined up. So that is going to give us this vertical line and this horizontal line, if we were to extend them out, would cross right here, okay? So let's go ahead and go 3, 4, and stop at 1. Don't forget, stitch in place. Don't push your foot against your template and don't push your template against your foot. That's going to give you the best results. Your shoulders should be nice and relaxed. There we go. And now we're going to just move it down, slide that template, line everything up again, and we're going to go from number 3 to number 4. Take 1 stitch in place. And the reason we do that is to keep those corners nice and sharp. And now we're going to come up to number 1 and we're going to join it. There we go. And now we're just going to slide it down again. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and take your spacing gauge and check each one of these as you go along. It really probably isn't overly necessary, and simply because the template is made so well that, you should be able to get it first time out of the chute. Really, you should. Whoa, do you see what happened there? I'm really kinda glad that did. That foot went right under my gate. Now that could have been a disaster, okay? What that tells me, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out because as you can see, first off, it made, an error in the design. But secondly, what could have happened if I wasn't going slow enough, which fortunately I was. Where's my bobbin thread? Okay. Um, I could have ended up with a broken needle, okay? And you'll see that this is very loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the cellophane tape with my pink tape. And the pink tape is RK Embroidery Perfection tape, okay? And this is what the package looks like. Okay, there it is. It comes in a nice size roll. The roll lasts quite often, and I'm going to show you exactly how I use it. Good morning, Judy. Nice to have you here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I like to go ahead and just fold a little bit over so that I have a tab. And then I like to make sure that I've got kind of a longish piece. I don't know if that's a real word or not. Now, eh, this probably could have been longer. I don't care for all of this tape. So what I do with mine is I actually cut it right down the middle. Okay, let's go ahead and get that done. We're gonna set that aside. I am going to take the cellophane tape off. I don't want them to interfere with each other. Now, what I'm going to do is when I lay this down, as you saw from what happened, the most important points are here and here, because this is where that gate is going to lift up, and it did lift up on us, okay? So I'm going to set this down as close as possible next to the inside of the template. The other half, and you don't have to use both halves if you don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and put the other half down on the edge of the template. So this is what I end up with. So now when I want to remove it, I just have these tabs. I grab the tabs and I pull it up and take it out. So it really works well for me. This has been, these are things you pick up, you learn along the way. And I have definitely learned these things along the way. And sadly, sometimes I've learned them along the way the hard way. And so I definitely want to pass all of this information on to you. Um, I don't hold anything back. If I know it, I want you to know it as well because my goal is for you to be successful. Okay, there we go. I always tell my students I have three goals for my students. One is to have a good time while you're learning. The second is to learn, obviously, to come away with more education than you arrived with. But thirdly is to make sure that I've given you the confidence to know that you can repeat this process once you are home and in your own quilting studio. And we're going to bring this up and I'm going to put my needle down right where we left off, and you'll see this is how easy it is to fix it. Okay, go ahead and yank that. We gotta get that bobbin thread up. That is so important. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot back down and my needle in. Whoops, there we go. And that was right about at number 4 when that happened. So I'm just lining myself up. The important lines again are this horizontal line and this vertical line. Whoops. And I'll hold that thread back and we'll go ahead and we'll finish this row. Okay, there we go. Now I don't need to worry. My gate is in there. It's nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. And we're going to stop and we're just going to slide ourselves down back to number 3, lining up number 1. And if this is where I find I do my most smushing. There we go. Extra stitch in place and come up to number 1. And I've got some snow plowing going on here with, there we go. And this will be our last one. And up we made. Okay, so there we go. Is that easy or what? And it is awesome. It really gives a beautiful design, so nice and smooth and pretty. And you really could be using some of this for templing. You could template a few of these around here, and I think that would look very, very nice. Okay, where's my thread? There we go. Okay. There we go. So this is, I'm going to back you up a little bit. Morning, Jenny. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, Suzanne. Teresa, good morning. So this would be perfect on a wall hanging size. I think and you can see how easily it goes, how quickly it goes. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. Now what I wanna show you is I wanna show you the 1 inch, okay? The 3 inch is gonna look just like this, only larger. The 1 inch is gonna be a little smaller. But the 1 inch is so darn cute. So we'll just do 1 pass of the 1 inch. I know that's weird. I think that's pretty weird, but that's me. I'm kinda weird. So what I'm going to do is I've got my 3 1-inch lines, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've put a border in here for me, okay? This would be my seam line, and we do a lot of pretending with seam lines. So that's what this is going to be. I wanna show you how to start and stop to make sure that you don't end up going over that seam line. There we go. I had to get a little bit of caffeine in me. Okay, with the seam line, the vertical seam line here, it makes this so much easier to line up. Here's our horizontal line, here's our vertical line. Again, the stitching path is exactly the same. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of these because I have a couple other things that I want to show you. Okay, and up we're going to go. Now, just to let you know, we can actually make clamshells with this template. I was very surprised to see that. Okay, let's, there it is. I had a really long piece of thread there. Okay, and there we go. Lined up my vertical and my horizontal markings on my template. I'm going to move you up a little bit to see better. There we go. And one stitch in place. Now this is exactly the same stitch pattern. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clip these threads off. When you're practicing, don't take the time to bury threads. It's not necessary. And you want to use the time for practicing, not burying, unless you want to practice burying your threads. And I know not everyone buries their threads. Some people like to do micro stitching, and that's fine. It's entirely a personal decision. Whichever way you want to do it is the right way. Okay? I love the fact that we can all do things differently, but in the end, we all are looking for the same thing, and that is beautiful quilts. Okay, and we're going to go up here. This is going to be the last one. Now I'm going to come down to 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on to number 4 and then up to number 1. And isn't this just the cutest little thing? I know it's kind of weird, but I think it's adorable. Okay, and when you settle this foot right in here on number 3, it's like the rest of the template wants to get itself in perfect spacing for you, which is so nice. Take that extra stitch there, come up to number 1, and we're just going to move along right to left, or left to right, I'm sorry, then right to left. There we go. Make sure we've got everything nice and straight. And try to go a little quicker here. Well, goodness. Okay, and now we're gonna go up here. Now the question is, how do we get to the next row? Okay, if you don't want to break thread, but you want to get to the next row. So where we want to start with is number 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here at the next intersection. Okay, gonna come down right here and stop. I'm going to put my template on, and now I'm going to line up. Now, when I make this line, I want to turn it over here so you can see it. And guess what? I dropped something. What a shot. Okay, so here's the seam allowance, and I'm going to go number 1. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to come up number 1 to number 2. And when I do, it's going to stop right at this point. And then we're going to go to number 3 and we're going to slide our template down and continue. I am going to do it in this orientation so it's easier for you all to see exactly what I'm up to here. So number 1 to number 2, and it stops, and it's perfect. It stops exactly where it needs to. And now I'm going to go on to number 3, which is going to stop on the line. And now I'm going to come back and slide that template down and do the next one. There's number 2. And now we're going to slide to number 3. And don't be afraid to do a little smooshing if you need to. Okay? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not cheating. And there are no quilt police. And if somebody wants to pretend they're the quilt police, expose them for what they really are. Jealous quilters. Okay, here we go. We're going to do a couple more here, and then we're going to have this 1 inch done, and you're going to see just how cute it is. Yeah. One more time. Now, what I like to do when I'm doing a small design like this, I do for 2 reasons. One, because it's curved, but second, because it's small, I do like to keep my stitches a little smaller. It just is in sync with the size that we're working on. Okay, we're gonna lift that needle, lift that foot, and look at that. Isn't that just the cutest little apple core you've ever seen? Love it. So tiny, so cute. This would make an absolutely awesome border. And borders are one thing you can easily do with the apple core. So what do you guys think? It is adorable. Well, Regina, you made it. Good morning. How are you? Diane's here from Chicago too. And Patricia's here from Minnesota. Okay, let's see. I've missed a couple of people coming on, and I'm sorry about that. Oh, Kim, computer gremlins. Did you guys, if you were here last night, you saw my computer, you heard my computer gremlins. I don't know what happened. That's a brand new headset. I'm really disappointed because I paid a lot of money for it, thinking it would be a good one. But unfortunately, it's not. So, Regina, I'm so glad you can make it. And Kathy, thank you so much. Yeah, it is just adorable. Oh, Regina, it's fitting snow in North Georgia mountains. Uh, we're going to get some of that later today, along with some horrible temperatures. Okay, so here we've got the mama size and the baby size. And I don't think I need to go through and do any of the papa sizes for you. But what I do want to do is go through and just show you a couple of the different designs that can be made. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a clean piece of fabric here. All right. Now, let's turn to the instructions. I use the instructions. I know most men don't. And my favorite, one of my favorite sayings, I've got a few of them, but one of my favorite is when all else fails, read the instructions. It really is something that I do. Um, if you have a block on point, this is a very point friendly, diamond friendly template to use. And remember, I said you can make clamshells? You certainly can. You can make clamshells. And this design here is the one that intrigued me the most. So I think we're going to try it. I have not tried it yet. So you guys, this is going to be the first time. So you'll get to see how I come up with how to mark things. A little drink there. Okay. Now I am going to use my 2 inch. It seems as though the 2 inch is getting a lot of attention this morning, and it is, but that's okay. I think it's the easiest one for you all to see, and it's probably the easiest one to work with, I think. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is I want to make a straight line. Let's get this. Because oh, where did we go? Where are we? There we are. I want to make sure you guys can see. Here we're going to go 1 to 2 to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is exactly our starting point for our apple core. All right, so let's go ahead and put a line in there, and we're going to follow that line. Okay, we're going to come up here. Like to make sure that these lines are nice and solid for you to see. So we're going to dissect this. I'm not going to say we're going to do da 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 da. I'm going to do this one step at a time. And this literally is how I learn designs. Okay. I liken it to eating an elephant. I like to do one bite at a time. Normally, I would draw it out first, but that's okay. It's all right to stitch it out first too, to kind of get the feel for what it's going to be when it's done. Okay, I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Okay, there we go. I'm not used to all these newfangled things. Okay, so we're going to go from 1 to 2 and down to 3. So this should look very familiar. And let's snip those threads off. They're just in the way. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and slide our template just like we would for our normal apple core. Don't forget to take that extra stitch when you hit these corners because they are corners. Granted, they're not 90-degree corners, but they're corners just the same, and they need that extra stitch. And we're going to do 2 more. Extra stitch and down and around. And this will be the last one. Whoa. We're gonna put that back where it belongs. Did you see that? What I did is I did not take my foot off of the presser foot, and it lifted my needle up and made a little boo-boo there. No worries, it's practice, and that's why we practice, right? Okay, so there we go. We're at number 3 now. I'm going to take this out because I want y'all to be able to easily see this. Okay, so here's what we've got. Now, if you're doing a seaside scene, that makes beautiful waves. I think. I'm not sure. Maybe they're kind of corny, but I like them. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to come and we're going to come backwards. We're going to start here. This would be 3, 4. Let me make sure here. Let's go ahead and start at the left. I'm going to break thread. We're going to go from the left to the right. And we are going to start right at this top point, and we're going to intersect right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 12-inch arc here. I caught it, guys. It didn't hit the ground. I'm getting better. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm lining up the vertical line here, or the horizontal line, I'm sorry, and I'm going to draw a vertical line. Okay? Where we want to start, put our needle in. It's going to be right here. And where that lies, let me see if you can see this. It's going to be right at the top point of this first row. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the template back on. Tape it down. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do okay, we're going to do let me figure this out, guys. We're going to come and we want to make, I wonder if we, nope. Okay. We're going to come down like this. Okay, this is our first one. First one's going to be different from the subsequent stitching. Okay, so we're going to line up. We're going to start at 2 and go to 3. Okay, it's not too hard to figure out. When it's drawn out for you, it makes life a whole lot easier, doesn't it? Okay, so this is going to be the starting of the row only. After that, we're going to move it along in a little different manner. Okay, put down, line everything up, needle down. This is the important area on this one is going to be right here. We want to stitch and meet right there. Okay, so this is the first motif only. Now we are going to first clip off those threads, right? There we go. Get that a little out of the way. Now we're going to move it over. And we're going to stitch from 1 to 2 to 3. Okay? You'll notice I don't have a line drawn here. I really don't need it. And the reason I don't need it is because I know this is the point I want to get to right here. Just going to turn that a little bit. Okay. Okay, Teresa asks, oh, Sarah had problems. Okay, Sarah, please go ahead and email or text me, and we will talk. We'll get that applied for you. Okay. All right. Um, Teresa said, could you have flipped it over and returned back? Yeah, we could have. We could have. There we go. Up we go. And we're going to come back down here. And we're going to stop right there. And we're going to go ahead and slide our template over. Up we go. And we're going to come back down. And we're going to stop right there. We're going to do this 2 more times. Up we go. And we're going to come back down to number 3. Now we don't want to end here, okay? Because this is our pretend seam line. So what we want to do is we want to keep lined up, and we're going to come up here and end there. And just like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and I'm going to break thread here. Now what we have here, guys, is clamshells. Isn't that cool? All right, let me find my bobbin thread here. There we go. And we have a row of clamshells. So if you don't have a clamshell, that's 2 inches, but you do have the apple core, you have a 1, 2, and 3-inch clamshell. Okay? Now let's go ahead and add the next row to it. So what we have done is we have in essence done this. Okay? So we've gone this way. Oh, yep, there we go. So now what we want to do is we want to come here, and this is going to be, so what we've done is at first, we've done this first row. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put, oh, you know what, guys, I did it wrong. I did, okay, that's right. I should have kept this down on this row. So let's go ahead and do that next. We're going to come down here. And then we're going to come, okay, we're going to do this row. So it's going to be 1. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not really sure. Okay, so we want to start here and do this and this. So I am going to go ahead and put a 1-inch line there. because we are going to come into that center. And I just kind of like to have the lines to follow. I don't know, maybe I mark too much, but to me, marking is important. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna come up here and down here. We're going to use 1, we're gonna use 1 and 2 and stop at 3. Okay, so we're going over the existing design and we're going to do it again. And let's go ahead and pull our thread up. I think this would make a pretty border too. Okay, we're going to start on that seam allowance. Down just a hair. There we go. So we're going to line up our center line. Now, if you want to understand this part of it, if you were to draw a straight vertical line from 2 to 4, it would come right in here at this area. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 on this one. And back to 3. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that thread off again. Oh, Lisa, hi. Okay, Patricia says that please move the camera. She can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying, Patricia. What I will do, I will put this upside down so that you see my stitching instead of my hands. Okay. So now I'm going to come over this way. I'm lining up everything. And we're going to go from 1 to 2 to 3. And slide the template, and we're going to repeat. Now, I want to show you this vertical line is going to line up with the bottom part of this clam here. Okay, so we're going to come and line that up, and we're going to go, oops, huh, I almost went the wrong way there. We're going to start at 1, go to 2, and over to 3. We're going to do this one more time. There we go. Because we want to end up on this seam line, pretend seam line. Okay, and there we go. We've got that whole row in. Now, what we want to do, and Teresa said, can we just flip and sew? And the answer to that is yes. So we're going to start at 4. We're going to flip our template. So we start at 4 and we're going to head back this way. Okay. 4 to 1 to 2. There we go. Slide that template down. And from 4 to 1 to 2. So this literally is how we can easily make clamshells with our apple core tablet. Isn't that cool, guys? There's so much we can do here. So much. I'm loving this one. And this is such an easy template to work with. It really, really is. And here we're going to finish it. And end up at the beginning of our row. Okay. So let's, oh yeah, I love this. There we go. Look at that. It almost looks like an Egyptian design, doesn't it? And of course, we would just continue working down in this orientation. And this is what we would end up with. So you've learned how to do clamshells. Now we've learned how to do a double clam, I guess we would call it, our normal apple core. We've got them in all different sizes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch out one rotation. This is the 3-inch. Yeah, go here. What I'm going to do, I think this is really cool, okay? I am going to just make a crosshair here. Very simple crosshair. Nothing special. Okay? And I want to show you the difference in sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my template with the crosshair. Come on, thread. There we go. We're going to start at 1. There we are. Put my needle down. Go from 1 to 2, 3, to 4, and back to 1. So this is our 3-inch template. And we're going to go ahead and break thread there, and I'm going to trim things off. Okay, now I'm going to take the 2-inch. Oh, it landed over here. Okay, so we're going to take the 2-inch. Again, I am going to line it up with the crosshair. I just think this is going to be interesting to see how different the sizes are. Okay, and I'm going to start at 1, line myself up on my crosshair, take that first stitch in place, go up to 2, back down 3, over to 4. Don't forget that extra stitch in those corners. That's really important. And over to 5. Or I'm sorry, back to 1. There is no 5. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and trim those threads. All right. And now I'm going to replace this with our little baby 1 inch. That lining up the crosshair. This will give us a really good representation of how large each of these templates is. And when you do something like this, what I like to do is I will take and I will cut this out. I will cut the design that we tried out and I will put it in the file folder where I keep the templates. And that way I have it for future reference. Now, there it is. I know I've got there we go. Isn't that cute? You know, we could actually do that as a design, tip to tip, coming out all the way. Would that be awesome or what? I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, pop-ups. I hate pop-ups. Oh, okay. So we have covered our apple core today. We've got the Papa Bear at 3 inches. We've got the Mama Bear at 2 inches. And we've got Baby Bear at 1 inch. So we learned a couple of things today. One, this is a very easy template to use. Another thing we learned, it's very versatile. It does a lot of really cool things. I'll do it this way so you guys can see better. It's got wonderful markings on it. And I hope that you want to try it. Because yeah, Susan, you've got it. I love that as a border too. I think that is so pretty. I mean, there's border we could do with it. We could put in diamonds. We could put this into a half square triangle. We could do so many things. And I just like to keep doing this and learning new things for myself too. I really appreciate you being here. I know for some of you it's real early in the morning, and I'm so happy that you come on. Oh, Suzanne, thank you. That's kind of just what I like to do. It really is. I hope that you try the Apple Core. Um, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share, and all that stuff. We want to keep that going as well. Don't forget this Friday, we're having our um, okay, what's it gonna be called? Our holiday party. I know it's something, okay? And it is going to be, uh, I don't know for sure what time, okay? I thought I could easily pull it up, but it's not showing up on my list here. So you'll want to watch for that on Friday. And then we also have a new subscription box announcement is going to be coming out. So you definitely don't want to miss that as well. It's 1 p.m. Pacific time. Wow. That's not too bad now, is it? So if we don't have any more questions, I hope you've enjoyed today, and we'll be here next week. Again, we will be Tuesday evening with the Spinifex Feathers 8. Haven't decided yet what Wednesday morning is going to be, but I'll just kind of open up some drawers and pick the one that looks good. Brenda, you have a great day as well. And until we meet again, let's quilt.